Do you wish you had a whole house?
Yep.
5-year-old Ava Brooks is a typical little girl, likes playing with dolls and reading, but her dreams are different than most girls her age. She simply dreams of having a roof over her head.
So someday, you guys will have a nice, big, happy house, won't you?
The Brooks family has been living in their car for months until they came to Churches United for the Homeless. They have been desperately searching for a home, but there's just one problem.
Every place that I've applied to, I've been getting denied because of my credit.
So these families or single adults have income to pay rent for an apartment or a house, but are looking for landlords who will accept these vouchers.
Do you have some Tamiflu suspension?
In 2009, it was H1N1. This flu season, it's the H3N2 virus, or the influenza A that's making you sick. The current vaccine protects you against only 3 to 4 strains of the virus. Dr. Kurt Kuyer says the surface proteins are different this season.
When they pick the strains to put into the flu vaccine, again, that happens in early winter, February usually, one of two things can happen some years. A new virus will show up, an influenza virus that they didn't anticipate, and then the vaccine doesn't offer much protection.
Or the virus mutates so our body does not recognize it as a virus and therefore does not try to fight it. Although this season's flu vaccine does not seem as effective, the CDC still recommends everyone 6 months and older to get vaccinated, as it may protect you from other strains of the flu. Although the vaccine is not 100% a guarantee to protect us from the flu, why should we get the vaccine?
Because it's one of our best devices to protect us.
But the process is so easy.
Good job.
Even a baby could do it. Director of Clay County Public Health, Kathy Anderson, said if you do get a vaccine and start to feel sick,
They may be feeling a boost in their immunity, or maybe they are getting ill, but there's lots of viruses circulating this time of year that can make people sick.
I was on my way up to the store, and I saw the black smoke.
it was a Monday evening on December 30, 2013, when a BNSF train carrying soybeans was derailed because of a broken axle. An eastbound train carrying crude oil hit the wreckage from the westbound derailed train and ignited a huge explosion.
The first train car blew up. It was like a huge bomb. And we felt the heat inside of our vehicle, and we were a half-mile away.
And now 1 year later, that December night left a lasting impact.
And every time I see an oil train go through town, it's a little frightening.
It was a feeling of cheerfulness in a time of sorrow.
Yes, very exciting. You know, we were dealing with a lot of sadness through this time, and now to be able to come together like this and see this outpouring of support, it's a nice relief from everything else we've been dealing with.
As hundreds poured out to show support to the families of the Larrimore victims.
We're several miles from them, but they're still in our thoughts.
They say coming together like this is another step in the healing process. With our rapid drop in temperatures, going to the bar may seem like the thing to do. So how do we stay safe? Alcohol is the #1 abused substance in North Dakota, and now there are newer ways to take control when you go to the bars. And if you want to know when you are buzzed, there's an app for that.
We reserve the right to cut off anybody at any time.
Alcohol is the #1 misused drug in the United States. Abused, it dulls judgment and sometimes ends up in violent behavior, a factor downtown Fargo has seen before.
As of tonight, we're having a benefit for Jacob. He was assaulted in an alleyway after he was already done with work, but it was tied to cutting someone off.
So, who determines when you have had too much?
You have the right to come to a bar and order properly and be a good patron, but at any given time, if a bartender thinks you've been overserved, they have the right to say no.
In fact, bartenders reserve that right to cut you off and also ask you to leave. Let's go Bison! As the Bison defended the ball, cheers and chants came from every corner of the room, every corner of the valley. But at a moment's notice, a still and somber turf had long faces as the Redbirds took the lead. but still hope. Chants came from die-hearted supporters who did not give up on their team.
They won't lose. They're the Bison. They will not lose.
A trademark is a sure indication you have bought a legit Bison apparel.
That one kind of shows.
But if the item seems questionable, it may not be official.
If there's any kind of offensive material, anything that would make them look bad, that would obviously be probably the number one indication that it's not legit.
So when you go shopping for Bison gear, just remember logos, trademark, typeface, and look for tags like these. Living in sub-zero temperatures is no doubt a challenge, but being prepared is the key to warmth and comfort in the frigid valley. That means having a mechanic to help get your car winterized. Dan Service Center's Chad O'Connell recommends 7 steps.
Battery, tires, brakes, belts, hoses, coolant, change your oil.
Check for your battery corrosion.
When your battery is corroded, you're not going to have the correct amount of power going down to it.
Ensure fluids are topped off.
You want to make sure everything is set to where it's recommended from the factory.
Check transmission fluid and how it smells.
It should actually be a vibrant pink style color.
While you're getting your fluids topped off, your mechanic will check your hoses and belts.
You always want to check the inside ribs to make sure there's no cracks.
Not enough snow means not enough sales for some businesses.
Right now it's very off-putting because there is no snow.
Sleds, snowmobiles, and other snow toys are not what's on the customer's list.
We're not getting the person just coming in off the street wanting to buy a sled.
However, he says sales are still good with customers buying four-wheelers like ATVs and UTVs to off-put the dry spell. Businesses are not the only ones looking for a blanket of white.
It's terrible. Flew all the way here for snow.
Cheers.
These Phoenix natives came expecting snow and were hoping for a winterland of activities.
We need some snow. My family here came from Arizona and we were going to go dog sledding.
This neighbor makes dog sleds. He said we could go dog sledding because there'd be snow. But there's no snow.
In the meantime, they'll just hang on.
We really hope that it snows before then so that we can get the full experience. That would be wonderful.
And wait for snowflakes to fall.
There is nothing better than riding in endless amounts of snow.
As fast as a cold wind change and a winter storm moves in, so can your body. The change in the barometric pressure, which is the amount of molecules in the air, can impact us, sometimes causing our head to hurt.
High pressure or low pressure fronts will affect chemical changes in the brain that result in migraine-type headaches.
Cold air has more oxygen, and the high oxygen level in the cold air causes the blood vessels in our brain to contract. And what do you get? A headache.
Hello, Sober Kitty.
This is Deb Vaughan, owner of the Sober Kitty Designated Driver Service in Fargo.
And do you know what time you'd like to be picked up?
They're not your typical cab drivers because they don't just get you home safe and sound, but your car too.
It is amazing how many people don't know that we're out here or they don't understand the process.
Here's how it works. 2 of Vaughan's drivers jump in a car together and drive to the call.
We call the customer in the bar. Sometimes we have to go in and get them. And then we jump in their car. And this one follows that one. And when we get to where we go, then we're off to the next destination.
And Vaughan says this type of cabbing also provides the Sober Kitty drivers with more security.
I'm really not concerned with it because I always have somebody behind me that's, watching.
And no matter how busy they are, Vaughan says she wants you to call.
I just tell people, just get on the list. Because if you get on the list, you're going to get a ride.
An advocate for safe driving and getting everyone home to celebrate another day.
All right, see you later.
Would you like the front seat or the rear seat?
For Jeff Dodd with Lucky 7 Taxi, business picks up late at night, but with apps like Uber and Lyft, it may not stay that way.
About 2 weeks ago, and I went through there at 2:20, and it was all clear. No one was standing on the street.
But a proposed ordinance the Fargo City Commission is looking at could put a stop to apps like these that charge more during high demand.
Uber and Lyft have a surge pricing, which our taxi cabs don't. So if you have a Bison game or you have a concert or you have something downtown, the cabs have to charge you the same rate. They can't change their rates.
For instance, on New Year's Eve, I heard on the news that they charged someone to go 4.5 miles, $117 to go 4.5 miles. And with us, it'd be like $10 to $15.
Dodd says that the regulation is necessary to prevent his company from losing customers.
Everyone will have to raise their rates because they're not a regulated company and they're going to charge what they want to charge, and it's going to force us, more units out there, it's going to force us to raise our rates. Thank you.
During high times, Dodd's drivers make between $150 to $200 for a 12-hour shift, but only receive a 40% commission.
Big problem getting decent professional drivers now, and we're going to have more of a problem if you get more out there, more taxis out there hiring drivers.
He says the app-based companies should be regulated to allow actual taxi drivers to get a fair wage and be able to make it.
Time for another kiss.
Lovers were in a bliss.
I would watch out the window until I saw him walk into class, and then I would run out so I could walk with him without him knowing that I was waiting for him. So, yeah, and then we started dating.
Now, she's not afraid to let him know. Happiness is one of the ingredients in a successful marriage, and North Dakota is ranked the happiest state.
We met at college in like the Ultimate Frisbee. There was like an event and I went to it, and he was one of the RAs throwing it, so kind of just met and became friends.
End of August of last year.
And marriages last longer among those who consider their spouse to be their best friend.